Former Trump White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham believes her old boss is planning to run for office again in 2024. This time, she says, with, quote, no guardrails. This comes after the former president hosted a Save America rally in Iowa late last week, sparking speculation he's laying the groundwork for a round two presidential campaign. And joining us right now is Hannah Trudeau, a senior political correspondent at The Hill, who is going to tell us a little bit more about Grisham's remarks. Good morning to you first, Hannah. First of all, I think this is true Trump fashion for him to be hosting rallies early on. But is this strategic to let everybody know he is indeed running for president again?
Well, at this point, we're so far away from 2024 that it's all very speculative. But if you look at the state that he just held his latest rally in, it's Iowa. So it's almost impossible to say in anything in politics that a potential candidate would go to Iowa for nearly any other reason. Now, we saw that in the Democratic field, and it's likewise in the Republican field. And if we know anything from what we've seen of the last 4 years under former President Trump, he loves to kind of grab the media speculation. He loves to grab the attention in the spotlight. And so he's certainly going to keep that momentum and those questions going, especially with the media asking sort of what is his next step. But Iowa is a clear indication that he's at least trying to kind of get the conversation going in his favor.
Let's bring up this Grisham interview. She says that she was once a loyal defender of the former president. She's gone on record saying so. In her new book, she says she regrets working in the Trump administration. Do you think that people are taking her comments seriously, or has she lost some credibility? Because this is the same woman who actually defended the president when he called never Trump Republicans a less than kind phrase. And she was really willing to rally for him then. Now she's changed her tune.
Right. Well, I think, it depends on who you ask. I think if you ask some of the most loyal Trump supporters, some of those folks that we saw at the rally on Saturday and other states and across the country that he won against Biden in the last election, they would say absolutely this is not somebody who's credible. This is just, a scorned former Trump administration official. And that would be the more cynical view from some of his loyal defenders. But on the other side, she has a bit of an incentive possibly herself in order to sell some books and to keep her own kind of clean the slate of things that maybe she would hope to kind of reset if President Trump doesn't run again, for example. And so it's hard to know exactly what her motivation is for making these claims. But I think it just depends on which side of the aisle you really fall and where you stand with the former president.
Yes, her book is titled I'll Take Your Questions Now, after she famously did not hold briefings for her time in office for the president. If Trump does decide to run again, what do you think his acceptance or approval rating is with Republicans today?
Well, I think one thing that's so clear, we just saw Senior Senator ChuckGrassley come out with Trump for that big rally in his election bid. So we're seeing these sort of loyal GOP senators. Of course, it's been divided among the party, and that's what we've seen for the last 4 years. But just an indication of such a high-profile member of the Republican Party, sitting senator, to really welcome Trump's endorsement, I think is a sign that the party has clearly adopted his ideology, and those who are sort of defecting away from him, the way that we saw towards the end of the election, I think that they might have a difficult time if Trump keeps keeping his presence the way that he is.
All right. We want to thank you for giving us your insights. Hannah Trudeau from The Hill, thank you very much.